Now, I know that you have this amazing goal. You want to lose 1 kilogram, not in total, per week. You want to lose 1 kilogram per week. That's your goal. And if it isn't your goal right now, maybe it was your goal at one stage. Or maybe your weight loss has stagnated and now you're like, oh, I want to speed things up and I want to lose 1 kilogram per week. In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what it takes to lose 1 kilogram per week. And by the end of this video, you'll actually understand how to set reachable targets for yourself when it comes to your weight loss. Don't tell anyone this, but for a 1 kilogram fat loss or a 1 kilogram fat gain, it's going to take about 7,700 calories. On paper, to gain 1 kilogram of fat, you need to eat 7,700 calories over and above your maintenance amount. Now, if we flip that and we look at fat loss, that means for you to lose 1 kilogram, you need to be in a deficit of 7,700 calories. And if I do the quick maths on this piece of paper with my pen, 7,700 divided by 7 equals 1,100. You can't see that, but just make as though you did see it. What I'm getting at here is 7,700 calories in a deficit is 1,100 calorie deficit per day over 7 days to make up the week. Because remember, your goal was to lose 1 kilogram in 1 week. So now we're doing the mathematics around it. That's 1,100 calories per day that you have to be in a deficit per day for a week to lose 1 kilogram. I know that that does not sound like a lot. You're like, 1,100 calories, that's a piece of cake. No pun intended. As you can see over here, 1,100 calories per day that you have to be in a deficit. Let's break it down a little bit further. On average, your normal every single day person, you and me, your average, bliksem, this goes my chalk. Your average calorie deficit is going to be around 1,400 to 1,800 calories per day. Some of you that have a bigger body composition, your calorie deficit might be a little bit higher per day. And just to put it into context, the average calorie deficit is around a 500 calorie deficit per day. Meaning if you want to lose 1 kilogram per week, you're going to be on a 1,100 calorie deficit. So you would still need to subtract around 500 calories from that amount, which will leave you with around 900 to around 1,300 calories. Again, keep in mind, everyone's calorie goals per day are very different. And even if you aren't tracking calories, this still applies to you. 1,100 calories worth of food, whether you're tracking the calories or not, is a lot. And essentially that means you've got to eat a lot less to place yourself in a bigger calorie deficit, which most likely isn't going to be sustainable. Let's say, for example, your total daily energy expenditure, the total amount of calories that you burn per day for your body to be up and running and perform all its functions and tasks, is around 2,000 calories. A sustainable way forward with that would be to create a 500 to 600 calorie deficit, so around 1,400, 1,500 calories per day. And not a 900 calorie goal for the day. Because 900 calories per day is really not a lot when you look at food. Like literally, what are you going to be eating? You're going to be hungry the entire time. That's really going to affect your adherence. And maybe for 2 weeks, you'll be able to adhere to 900 calories per day. But long term, it's pretty much going to be impossible. Again, if we look at that, a 1 kilogram loss per week means you need to be in a 7,700 calorie deficit for that week. Divide that by 7, that's 1,100 calorie deficit per day that you would need to be eating in. On average, your sustainable deficit amount is 500 calories per day in a deficit. So if you're going to add another 500 or 600 calorie deficit to that amount, it's literally not going to be sustainable. Like you're going to be hungry all the time. You're going to be grumpy all the time. You're going to be moody all the time. You're going to have a huge amount of cravings and you're not going to be able to adhere to the plan long term. Now, I know all of these numbers and these calorie goals and everything can be very confusing. What I would suggest you do is you go and use the calorie calculator on my website. I will link it in the caption below. But the whole point of this video wasn't to give you a calorie breakdown. The point of this video is that 1 kilogram weight loss per week is not sustainable. It's not realistic. That 1 kilogram loss per week goal most likely stems from fully restrictive diets that you've done in the past. But realistically, if you look at any of the diets that you've done in the past, how long have they lasted? Have you managed to keep that weight off long term? And that just proves the point that a fully restrictive, very low calorie diet is not necessarily the answer or the way forward, especially if you're looking for long-term success. And by long-term success, I mean keeping the weight off that you have lost. And one thing that I always hear is, oh, it's taking so long, it feels so slow, and it's just not as fast as what I'm used to. But exactly that, because you are creating healthier habits, you're creating a healthier lifestyle, it's going to take slower because you're doing it in a sustainable manner. And just to give you a bit of information, I've lost 40 kilograms. If my goal was to lose 1 kilogram per week, it should have taken me 40 weeks, less than a year. That's not the case. It took me 4 years to lose 40 kilograms. I mean, just listen to that again. 4 years to lose 40 kilograms. I actually did a full episode on the podcast regarding my 40 kilogram loss. Go and listen to it so that you fully understand the ups and downs of this expedition and how to create sustainability when it comes to your weight loss. So whilst 1 kilogram weight loss per week seems like a very nice number to aim for, I would definitely say tweak your expectations accordingly. On average, like I mentioned, most calorie deficits are going to place you in around a 500 calorie deficit per day, which if you adhere to it consistently is going to place you in a 3,500 calorie deficit per week. So per week, on average, on paper, if your adherence and consistency is on point, you're looking at around a 500 gram loss per week. But again, this is real life, and real life is very different to on paper. There may be some weeks where you lose 500 grams. There may be some weeks where you don't lose 500 grams. There may be some weeks where you lose 1 kilogram. There may be a week where you gain 1 kilogram. And I'm telling you all of this not to scare you. I'm telling you all of this so you can set your expectations accordingly. This isn't a quick fix that you are doing. There is no time frame. You're not going to be aiming for, I want to lose 30 kilograms in 3 weeks. I almost said that has been irresponsible, pretty much almost, but it's been unrealistic. And the moment you start setting yourself realistic targets with regards to your weight loss, that's the moment you stop panicking every time there is a little fluctuation on the scale. Remember, as much as you want to see that number on the scale tick down at a rapid pace, these are lifelong changes that you're making. You are creating a healthier lifestyle that you're going to live out every single day for the rest of your life. Always keep in mind that your goal should be maintaining every single kilogram that you have lost for the rest of your life. And as soon as you start having that mindset, your whole approach to this health expedition changes. It becomes about so much more than just that number on the scale, and it becomes about so much more than just the amount of weight lost. So again, if it feels like it is taking long and it feels like it is slow, don't base your expectations of what you've done in the past if you were doing fully restrictive diets, because yes, it is going to be faster, but it's really not going to be as sustainable for you moving forward. So again, slower is better on creating healthy habits as a solid foundation for you to move forward on your health and fat loss expedition.